Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about the imagination, sleeping without having dreams, and the world behind it all. Now let's get into the imagination first. What is the imagination? Now the imagination is tied strongly to your creativity. So if you're an atheist or a person who don't believe in the spirit, I'm going to call it consciousness. If you're a person who do believe, if you're not religious or you are religious but you believe in some type of spirituality, I'm going to call it the spirit. Now, you got people who got high spirits and people who have low spirits. Now, how you could pinpoint you don't have to get into no whole tyrant of anything. How you pinpoint the example with a person who got high spirits and a person who got low spirits is this example only. A person who got a high imagination and got a lot of creativity. That's how you can tell a person with high spirits. A person with low spirits is a person who lack creativity, lack imagination. So, for the most part, when you want to look at a person based upon the people, place, and things that they are around in their location, they may be in a location and around a bunch of other people that's vibrating low, but this doesn't determine the spirit. Because, for an example, you could be in an area around a bunch of killers. But if you have high spirits, right, then you may just be the most creative killer, the one that has the most imagination. So before you get caught, you end up being a serial killer before someone who get caught in the same hour after killing somebody. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you decipher a person with high spirits or not. So the imagination, a person who got a lot of imagination, even if it doesn't make sense in your reality, a person who has a lot of imagination means their spirit goes through a lot of astral travels. And the astral travels that they go through isn't always in this realm of reality. So the logic of it doesn't always take shape and form of these lights in this realm of reality. So that's what you have to understand also. Now, when we're talking about having dreams, right? Now, I had this question asked to me also because a person said, what does it mean to have dreams? I mean, to sleep without and don't have a dream. Now, what this means right here is you lack creativity. You lack imagination. So your spirit becomes dormant. This is what you have to understand before anything else, right? The dream world creates this world. You need to know that. Everything comes from the subconscious realm before it comes into the conscious realm, the yang realm. Everything comes from the inner to the outer. So everything is being birthed from the inside out. So once you understand that, you know that the dream world is kind of consists of the state that you are in, whether it's a mental state, emotional state, or whatever. So any form of darkness, separateness, silence, you are separate from the overall. Because you got to think about it like this. The overall, we're living in the overall imagination of creation right now. So the overall have done that, so you don't have to do that. So for the most part, how can you be any form of extension or expansion or becoming or even come out in any existence of the overall if you're not even participating into the experience and leveling yourself? For the most part, like I said, if you having any dreams and if you having multiple dreams, I mean, if you're going to sleep and you're constantly not having dreams, your spirit is going to create a scenario either in your wake life or your sleep life to make you dream. Because this is what you're here to do. You're here to create. You're here to create your external life. So anytime you experience any form of separateness or anything of that nature, you are separate from the overall. You're here to imagine. So that means so anytime this happens, this means that you may overexhaust your mind on something, overexhaust your emotions on something, like overthink or over emotionalize something, or do the complete polar shift on the opposite, completely swipe your mind clean or completely swipe your emotions clean. And that can go into two different natures. For an example, you can work so hard at your job to the point you become emotionless and become all business, nothing personal. Boom, then the same polar on the opposite end. You could think too hard about not wanting to work, but you have to work. So it's just the same polar opposite. You're singling yourself out of the overall imagination, and since you lack creativity and lack imagination, you have nothing to go to. So you go to a realm of darkness, a realm of where there's no imagination on. And remember, your soul, your mental, your source, that's what control that creates light. So why are you putting your spirit somewhere where there's no light? You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, you overexhausting yourself in some area of life, either mentally, and it could play out like this also it play out a lot in atheist life, or people who try to get unindoctrinated, play out in their life like this also. When they come to some type of conclusion and they think they're God. So when a person starts subscribing to thinking they're God, or thinking they think like God in some way, or let's not even use God for the terms, let's use overall. When a person when they get so closed off into their own self to the point that they start to think that they think like the overall, they are the overall, then this will create a state also that puts them spirits separate from the overall. Because when a person dives so far into that, then the overall, it appears that you will lack imagination or creativity. So you place yourself in your own darkness, in your own separate place. So wherever you go in the next level of life will be so separate that you're gonna wish that you had some type of connectiveness with something. And we see that every day. I don't care how separate a person try to be in the physical world. In some way, shape, or form, they have to relate to something, or they will go crazy. That's like putting somebody in a jail in a hole for their whole stretch, especially if they got 10 years. That person will go fucking crazy. So let's put that in. So put that into spiritual terms. Don't make yourself separate, because God put you here to be the overall put you here to be free, and for you to fly through all imaginations and all creativities. And don't limit your imagination and creativity to the point that you limit it so much that you put yourself in complete darkness. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't have a dream when you sleep, that means you're a person who may lack creativity, lack imagination. That's one hole. Or you may be a person who overstress yourself into the mental or an emotional stance. That's another hole. Or even to the physical. You could wear yourself out to the point that you just kill your spirit, because you put so much of your spirit into whatever you was doing. Say you play football or basketball. You put so much spirit into that, your spirit becomes needing to recharge also. So it could play out in a state like that. It's not good to put yourself in too many vibrations in the yang realm like that also, to the point that you just wear and tearing your body like that your spirit can't fly, because you putting all your spirit into a light. Remember, light is a prism. Prism is a prison. So when you look at crystals, what is a crystal? A crystal is a shape and form, right, that holds light. That holds light frequencies. So that crystal is just a condensed light that been here for so long that it's condensed so it can hold lighter forms of light. But we need to know that light, sound, all of these are forms of bodies for our spirit to inhabit. And different forms of bodies we can inhabit in different realms of realities. Since we in the earth realm of reality, different forms of bodies we could take here is cells and lights and sounds and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? So don't get lost just because this realm of reality is showing you certain things. Now, here is the world behind it all. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want anybody's spirits to get trapped in their own secluded darkness because a lot of times a person's ego, like if say you're into a type of sport or something. All right, here's another way how it can happen. Like, so I explained it. It can happen by you having a lack of imagination or creativity. You overthinking or over emotionalizing something, or over exhausting your body, putting too much spirit into something. And then third, you coming up with the terms of agreements that you are God, or you think like the overall. These or all of these in general could put you into a very separate place, and you don't want to actually do that. And it makes sense. You know this makes sense. So you know this makes sense. So don't even try to play or add any type of analogies to what I'm talking about anyway. Now, for the most part, now this is the three. Now, it's a world behind this all. This is what you need to understand. Now, the spirit is actually controlling your soul, the same way your soul is controlling your body. Now, the soul is in your body. Your soul is all forms. The clusters that you see in the physical realm is just the manifestations of the fluids and the vibrations and the rotations that the shapeless, formless soul, the smokeless flame, was taking. But as a spirit, the spirit is an actual concept. So that controls the soul. So for the most part, your soul is in the body. This would make you an individual spirit. But your spirit is in the astral travel, in the astral realm, going through a bunch of realms of realities, seeing what it's actually going to resonate with to create in the soul life. And then in the soul life is what you're going to feel, and that's what you're going to actually start to manifest the physical reality in the energy realm, which is the yang realm. So for the most part, this is what you need to understand. Now, there's a world behind it all. And you only can get there when you master something in the physical, and then it helps you master something in the dream world, and then you're able to access that world from the dream world. But you can only get to that world from the yin world, the dream world. And this is the world I'm talking about. It's not a world at all. You see what I'm saying? The world of the overall is when you can actually look at yourself in the dream and tell yourself what to do in the dream. And you can even control the scenario. Like, you're not only controlling yourself, you control the scenario. You can control other people. You can control the angling. It's almost like you're holding the camera. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you be with the overall. Because you're able to see the shape, you're able to see and control the shapeless, formless realm, which is your individual spirit, your soul. Now, your soul is actually experiencing these realms of realities as a fluid going through the astral travel. But as a spirit, you're not actually, you're astral traveling, but it's in the astral realm itself. The manifestation of the astral realm is what y'all see as space, the rainbow waters. The physical representations y'all see out of it is the energy realm, the yang realm, which is the stars, the lights, the sounds. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is replace language, light, sound with lie. Once you start a lie, it has to continue going, and it builds up on. You see what I'm saying? So that's all the Lucifer realm. But for the most part, when you want to talk about the shapes and forms that we take, that get manifested out of the rainbow waters. Now, your soul gonna stay fluidly, but it's shapeless and formless, so it's gonna still be able to take containers like water. But your fire is the spirit. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, it's connected, but it's not even really here. So the only way you can get to the world behind it all is if you master something in the physical realm, like an experience you've been going through, and you learn how to master it. You learn how to detach yourself from those people, places, and things, or you learn how to align yourself with it on a regular basis. Boom. Then your dream's going to start playing out in scenarios like, okay, that's something you accomplished. It's going to play out as like a dream you don't have no more, and then you start having another dream, right? And then that dream, the information that you align from you even having a new dream now, puts you in a higher realm within the dream realm, right? Then once you start understanding how you in the dream, and you start learning how to control your dream, it puts you in the world behind the world. And the world behind the world is now you're looking at yourself in a dream. You looking at your back being turned. You looking at you interacting with people, and it's like you're controlling yourself from an outside within. And that's how the overall see it. The overall is always imagining. But it's controlling the imagination, and it's able to take the shapes and forms of all the imagination. So since you are a mini form of that, this is how you do it. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, I have plenty dreams of this. Some people have dreams of this subconsciously sometimes, because it may be something that you're going through in your life, and you just have a certain alignment where you subconsciously get over it. Then your dream, you subconsciously end up having a better dream. Then you subconsciously having 1 or 2 dreams like this from time to time, where you see yourself in the dream, and you're not yourself in the dream. You see what I'm saying? It's levels, and then that's the last level, because you're in the realm of 3. You're in a being that have 3 existences. So you are a mini version of these 3 existences. So you don't want to be in the 3rd existence, which is the yang, and then get so lost in the yang that you separate yourself from the yin existence. So the yin existence it's dark, because you're not even utilizing your real light to imagine. So it appears to be dark. And then it's almost like when you wake up, you didn't even know you were asleep. It's like that's a form of being spiritually dead. And you know, when you're spiritually dead, you are a person who lack common sense, lack relativeness, lack imagination, lack creativity, or you like atheists, like you have reached a level of intellect where you think you can't go no further, and you think it's no one where you at. So you're in a realm by yourself. That's where God will put you. That's what you have to understand. The overall is not a respecter of persons. It doesn't respect you because of who you think you are. The energy flows where it likes to go. And that's the overall. Lucifer likes to take, or since y'all don't want to get lost in religion, there's a certain light sound energetic being that likes to take the shape. Since that spirit is such evolved, it know how to use sound and light and language to come in the form of the overall. So it'll teach you something to think that you are a form of the overall. And then you will get lost in that light to the point that behind that light is nothing but darkness, where that's not even truly what it is. Imagination is imagination. When you dream, you're not hearing no sounds, or you're not seeing no colors or anything of that nature. You're purely creating your own source and creating your own imagination to what you want to see manifest. So if that's in any level of darkness, if that's in any level of separateness, I don't care what you try to come up with, in some way, shape, or form, it is what it is. It's a frequency vibration of separateness. It's a frequency vibration of darkness, and it's a frequency vibration of not remembering and being born or dying again. So that's spiritual death, period. That's not spiritual existence. So that's just your spirit letting you know ahead of time you need to get some creativity about yourself. Get some imagination. Let go of some of these concepts that you're gearing towards. Let go of some of these lights and prisons that you're adding onto my spirit, making my spirit so dense that you didn't got so consciously aware and put all these lights on my spirit that all the lights together just look like darkness. So that's where the spirit be at. Then the spirit can't imagine or see nothing, so when they actually wake up, you better be motherfucking happy you woke up. Because you don't want to be there for fucking forever. Believe that. Believe that. God already did that, so you don't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? Use your motherfucking common sense. Now, like I said, so anybody who out here having dreams, going to sleep and not having dreams, when you wake up, you need to make sure you add as much creativity and imagination to your life, because you don't want to be creating that realm for your spirit to go for eternity, because that's actually yourself creating hell by you thinking you the overall, but you getting blinded by Lucifer's version of overall. See what I'm saying? Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.